let's chat Patch Adams, the Robin Williams movie.
It is our mission here to rigorously and ruthlessly train the humanity out of you and make you into something better. We're gonna make doctors out of you.
Well, I just believe there's more to being a doctor than memorizing facts about the ventricular
I
arteries.
don't care what you think. I care about my biology test.
We're not even going to see a patient until the 3rd year.
If you want to become a doctor, we have to learn to treat the patient as well as the disease. That's why we have to dive into people.
You have a brilliant mind, and like many brilliant people, you don't necessarily think the rules apply to you.
It was so much more convenient thinking of you as an idiot.
That little ice that just chipped off? If you want to be a clown, go join the circus.
For your own sake, I think you should just lay low for a while.
The hospital will cover all of your bills. Any other questions?
Patients are opening up to me, Corinne. They're sharing their dreams, their fantasies. They don't concentrate on the pain.
I'm warning you, stay out of this hospital.
What if a doctor becomes emotionally involved with a patient? What is wrong with that?
Patients don't need a friend, they need a doctor.
My name is Dr. Phil. I'll be your surgeon. Oh, there you are.
You are dismissed
Sir.
from this school.
They can't prevent me from graduating because of a personality clash, can they?
Universal Pictures presents
You are not cut out to be a physician.
Our job is improving the quality of life, not just delaying death.
the true story of a man who broke every rule
Why am I such a threat to you, sir?
Because what you want is for us to get down there on the same level as our patients.
and proved that laughter
Donner, party of 50. Donner, party over here.
truly is the best medicine.
Close, salute.
Robin Williams,
You treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you'll win, no matter what the outcome.
Patch Adams.
Which based on a true story, which I did not know, even though this is my second time watching this.
Based on a real guy, took some liberties.
Okay, real guy, not real
And
story,
then-
essentially. Maybe that's a good way to put
Based on a true story.
it. Like anything,
Yes.
right? Like
Yes.
The Strangers, based on a true story.
Exactly. Did a lot better job than The Strangers, I will say. But
And a few weeks late here, but part of the reason for the pick was it was Robin Williams' birthday a few weeks ago.
Yes, it was.
A little late getting to his movie, but love me some Robin Williams. And I had never seen this one. I think we talked about this, but Joe, you had seen it. Jesse, you hadn't. Is that right?
Yes.
What did you guys think?
I liked it. I kind of remember what the story was, but I wasn't sure, all the little details. I really liked his performance in it. I thought it was a really good performance by him, as always. I mean, I like him because he literally plays Robin Williams, I feel like, in a lot of his movies, but it works really well. I feel like people just want to watch him on screen. And I don't know, it was like, it was heartwarming in some ways, but it was also sad because, like, especially what happened to him, obviously in 2014 when he, I feel like it was just like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's kind of like eerie knowing all that stuff happened and kind of watching his movies. It's kind of weird to watch a little bit, but it's just, he's such a great person to see on screen. But I like him. The story, it wasn't my favorite Robin Williams movie, but I think it was a really good performance by him. So
What do you think? Jess?
yeah, well, I was going to say too, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, right. Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
Was it 2014?
Yeah. They were like within months of each other. That's great.
I don't know. I really wanted to like this movie, and I don't think I loved it. It wasn't bad.
What was it for you?
I think it was it felt too constructed. I don't know. Like, it felt like too much of a Hollywood movie.
I kind of feel you there.
You like they were trying to pull, like, yeah, like it felt like there was probably a really good story in there. And again, it's not like it wasn't, but that it was just a little too Hollywoodified, like, to make the story very, like, dramatic. And inspirational and
Mhm.
heartwarming. But sad, happy sad movie. Happy
Yeah.
sad movie.
Yeah.
Happy.
It turns dark real quick.
Yeah,
At that
There are some points too.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah, the
reading
big
about
one.
it in the real Patch Adams. Apparently, he wasn't a fan of this movie. I don't know if you guys read about that or not.
I did.
And apparently, the scene where the girl's murdered, essentially, apparently that was his friend in real life, not like a girlfriend or something. Which I thought, well, first of all, that actually happened. That's insane. So that was creepy. Joe, what did you? This is your first time seeing it, and what did you think?
Yeah, I had like similar takes to you guys. I did like the movie. I got happy, sad, and funny out of it. And again, any movie that makes you feel anything is a good movie to me. I kind of like, I watched it with D, and D being in the medical field, like, probably took this at a different angle than any of us. But it was like, yeah, like I kind of get the like Hollywood thing. Cause like the thing, like I felt like when his like girlfriend, friend, whatever passed away or was murdered, I should say. Like, I feel like that happened really, really suddenly. And like, they did like kind of deal with it for a while, but like, I also feel like he moved on relatively quickly. And that it kind of gave me whiplash, that one particular part. But that's really the only thing I could say I was taken out of the movie for. Otherwise, I was just like kind of engaged in it. And like, that's what I like out of a movie, is like when you can just kind of be fully in it. So I liked it. It was happy. It was sad. It was funny. Robin Williams was being Robin Williams, and I love Robin Williams. So
yeah, I was gonna say if he wasn't in this, it would not be what it is. Like, I don't think it would be in my opinion, not a great movie. Like if he wasn't in it.
And honestly, interesting story. Super interesting.
Oh yeah,
story.
fascinating.
And like, there's a lot of I mean, I don't know how deep you could actually go with this movie, but like, I do think there's something that's always going to be relevant about just trying to make people happy. And like some super valid points about our medical system and how like, we're just treating death as opposed to like trying to improve quality of life. That seems like common sense to me. So it's like in that sense, I'm like, yeah, like this is actually like cool. Like, why don't people do this?
Right. It's crazy. This was in the 90s, like, and this is still relevant. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well,
like,
yeah, exactly. It's like that underlying, like, hey, like we need to treat people better. I mean, it's arguably more true because this was like before social media and cell phones and like everything that's like taking people further away from each other. And this guy's just like, talk to a stranger.
Right. I think if anything, like taking away from this movie, it's like, even though it wasn't my favorite, I think like the whole idea of it is, I think people should watch it for the whole idea of it, essentially. Like, talk to people, be kind to everybody, and just make people laugh, enjoy life, I guess. That's kind of the whole message.
In that sense, it's timeless because
100%
always going to be true.
Yeah. I actually wrote this as I wrote down, this was like the accepted of hospital movies. Because he essentially starts his own hospital. No, it's good. I think it's a good. I love accepted.
I did the thing that popped into my head. I feel like that is a good chunk of the movie that explains the whole thing for me. My view was like when he was talking to the older guy, when they were doing like the finger thing, like how many fingers, and he comes in, he's like, oh, you're a clever kid, that whole thing. But he fixes his cup with a piece of the tape, his drippy cup, and they do it like he puts a piece of tape on this cup, and the guy's like, holy shit, this guy. Like,
Patch his cup.
Pat, yeah, the true, yes, where he gets his nickname. And he was like, but that whole scene to me was just like, this feels really forced and weird. Like, he was like, I'm not dealing with you, kid. And then he puts a piece of tape on his cup, and he's like, okay, man, let me teach you everything. And that's like the breakthrough where he gets his name, the see things that other people don't see.
Yeah, it's almost like everything he does is like the best, like the innovative and the best thing ever, which don't get me wrong, it is like it's great, but I feel like everything he does,
but the way it's portrayed in the
Whoa.
movie, it's like
no one's ever done
like,
it before.
Yeah, it's just like the piece of tape, and you're like, people are like, oh my, it's just like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I think in that sense, like it's one of the movies that like you can expect everything to just kind of play out perfectly. Like not that everything plays out perfectly, but like what you expect kind of happens once you figure out the story. If that makes sense. Like I don't think it's like one that's gonna really like he really had to work to get genius insane asylum guy to
right. I like the aspect of like the murder scene, like obviously it's not like a good thing, but like I liked that part of the movie just because it did take me off guard and I didn't expect that to happen. So I kind of liked that part of it, even though it was like, even a lot of the movie was kind of predictable and structured in a similar way that that I kind of figured. But I don't know, I like that part. I like when movies like that kind of just jump at you and like, oh wow. I didn't think she was going to get killed. I thought she was going to maybe disappear, get kidnapped or something, but I didn't think she was going to get killed. That was kind of like the end of it.
I actually had something similar because like I didn't really expect her to get killed. She before that said something along the lines of like, I hate men. So I assumed she was like abused or like raped or something. Which maybe that's also true, but like I thought that was where it was going. When she walked up by herself, with finally good intentions, and then something bad was going to happen.
And like I don't understand that. I actually watched that conversation with them like 3 or 4 times to try to figure it out, but why she hated men so much, but she didn't really explain it at all.
No.
So I was like, she kept saying like, I was, I don't know, they were all into me or something as a kid, or I don't know. It was alluded to, but it wasn't, I didn't get enough information. So I didn't really understand what they were talking about or what she was talking about.
That's why I thought there was like more to be explained and it would like kind of play itself out, but it just kind of ended.
Right.
That's what, there were a few things that like, I feel like I saw online. I think there was a lot of like deleted scenes from this movie that explained things. I don't know if this is one of them, because I thought I just saw something online that was mentioned, like she had mentioned to Patch that she was molested as a kid or something, which I don't remember, but I don't know if that's like a deleted scene, because I think there's a deleted scene too of him with his mom at the beginning or something, like explaining why more of his background into the asylum.
See, I would be really curious to see like
I think there's I think
there's actually would be I think it might help like an extended cut or something, the pacing and the story and all that.
Give Zack Snyder a cut.
release the Snyder cut.
4-hour-long Patch Adams.
I would be curious though. This is a movie where I'm like, I would love to see the extended version or deleted scenes, because I think knowing that, like, you can allude to that she was like, abused in some way, but we didn't know that. I kind of wish I had some more confirmation at least.
Yeah.
But, what can you do? But Philip Seymour Hoffman, great.
He was a prick.
I think overall the cast was pretty
local
good.
legend.
Yeah. Pittsburgh, right? Fairport.
Yeah, he went to Fairport, and then I believe he donated back to Fairport a lot with like the arts program there. Arts and theater.
That's awesome. He's great, man. I like him a lot. And he always surprises me. And when I feel like I'm always watching a movie and he just shows up and I'm like, oh wait, I forgot. Right. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He plays a similar character usually, but it still works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like Robin Williams. It works though when he does it.
It still works. Oh man, but I don't know. I think
he did kind of suck in this.
He did until the end. The end he was good, but
yeah, by the end he was okay. But
I did love going back to the very beginning. I loved the opening like couple shots, because it was like very Shining-esque with the overhead and the snow and the windy roads. I was like, all right, this is cool. So I appreciated that.
What do you think, like for you guys, what was like the funny part or did any of them hit just too cringy, or like what would you say is your favorite and your least favorite?
I enjoy. I don't know if I'd say it's the funniest. A lot of the humor to me, like I wouldn't even. It wasn't funny to me per se.
Yeah.
The humor, but I took it more as like it's the humor for people inside the movie, if that makes sense almost. Like some of the kids scene. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's like kid humor and stuff, but I just was like, this feels a little cheesy. But I just love the premise of the when he did the paper mache legs outside the door.
That was good.
For the conference for the OBGYNs. And I was like, that's just like, I hope that part's true. I don't know if you guys know, but like that's what I love, the idea of like, that explains this guy in medical school. Is like,
right.
He had to do that, and that's what he did.
I did like laugh audibly at that point of the movie. I think I actually.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like, I don't know if it's like a specific part where I thought was the best or funniest, but I think just every time he was like being himself and like just joking around with like the patients, I saw myself smiling because I was like, this is just fun. Like, I wish I had like, eventually in the future, if I'm in that position, I would love to have someone like that around. And I love that he did, like he alluded to early, I think this was like the first time he went in with the red nose to the kid, Cameron, I believe. And he did the little antennas, and I think that was a little reference to Mork and Mindy, which I was like, okay, that makes sense, because that show from the 70s that he was in, he's an alien, of course. But I thought that was kind of fun. Yeah. But I like how he kind of made his jokes geared towards like kind of what they're, I don't know, like the OBGYN and all that stuff. I think he was very clever with his jokes, which I thought was really cool.
I think, yeah, like they were targeted to the audience in the movie, not necessarily like they were also funny because of that. But like the one that, I mean, it's just like super weird, but my favorite one was not the like resolution of the pool of noodles, but when they did the like safari hunting with the one patient, and then they turned to the lady in the bed next to him. It's like, well, like, what's your fantasy? And she's like, I just want to be in a pool of noodles.
He made it happen.
I loved that.
Yeah, that was great. I did like that. I also loved seeing like all the doctors and nurses kind of in there watching him. I thought that was really cool because they love it, And I think something I wish I don't know. I didn't like how so many people were just against him. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if that would be realistic or not. I honestly don't know the medical scene. This is maybe more of a D question, but like, wouldn't you want someone like that in your hospital, or does that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This was also, took place like late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, it took place. Something. I didn't realize
that's when it takes place.
Oh, gotcha.
So there is, I mean, I think it's a big thing too. Like, I think it is a systematic problem with a lot of people, like it's not a bunch of bad people going into medicine. Right. It's like we have a messed up system that kind of churns that out. But I, especially like with mental health and stuff and like that in the late 60s, early 70s, I'm sure it was
frowned upon,
not treated exactly the same. Yeah. I mean, when he goes in and admits himself, he gets put into it's like a true, like a sane asylum back then.
Right.
And they just they just all throw you together. It's like, it's one problem.
For a hot second, I actually like when his like roommate wouldn't pee and he couldn't sleep, and then they ended up like, like hunting the squirrels in their room, and the like guy comes in and like looks in the window. I legitimately thought for a second that he was gonna be like, oh my God, this guy's regressing. Like he, like he was a bit. And but just like by virtue of being in here, he's like
by proxy,
he's lost it.
Yeah, totally.
Which, of course, turns out he's helping him go to the bathroom, which was like a breakthrough moment for this guy. But like,
isn't that crazy? Like, if you think about it, like if you're in one of those situations, I've never been, so I don't. But like, and you see someone act like that, you're like, oh, they're out of their minds or something. But like, no, this guy's just being funny. He's just trying to help this other guy, and I'm sure that happens a lot of the time.
Well, it's like a strategy that probably most people, including and especially doctors or like in the same spine, like the attendants at that place, probably wouldn't initially think to do. So like it's almost like a fresh take on how to help somebody.
Right.
That actually worked in that case in the movie.
They should show this to all incoming doctors and nurses.
I remember when I was watching it, this is actually like I was talking with Diaz, like, what movie should we pick? And the Robin Williams, I was like, I want to pick a Robin Williams movie. And she was like, watch Patch Adams. She had seen this when she was in school.
Oh, really?
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Well, that was awesome. I mean, that's great to hear because I feel like it is super important. I mean, Dee's great. I feel like Dee's a perfect person to be in the medical field.
Yeah, I mean, like it's always a weird thing for me because like you need the medical field. You want people like Dee in the medical field,
right?
But kind of like Jesse said, there's a lot of just kind of like larger than the people that are in it problems. That it's not the problems with the people. It's kind of like how things are set up that is a little backwards sometimes.
Yeah.
And
go for it. Sorry.
I was gonna say like training and stuff, and also I mean, kind of touch. I don't know. Part I think about with this too a lot is like how people who are good in the system too, how much it can take a toll on you. You know, just like one of my sisters was a music therapist at Boston Children's, and I was like, how do you every day you're going in and seeing like sick kids, a lot who are terminally like they're gonna die, and like that's your day to day, or like hospice care workers.
Oh my
or
gosh, I could never do that. Yeah.
I also, I don't know.
It just like
overwhelms me even thinking about the toll it would be.
I'm so glad people work in that field because I couldn't do it myself.
I agree.
So it's awesome. But like you were saying before, like Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, like he essentially wasn't a bad person, but he was just, following the system and how he was taught to be, kind of serious and straight. And I think, I don't know how many people in the field are like that or not, but I feel like hopefully that
he actually explicitly said, like, growing up, my dad would have to like watch somebody die and then come home to dinner or like something along those lines. So like literally explicitly called that out.
Right.
When he was like, I know what it takes. Like you don't. I lived that kind of deal.
Which I go back and forth with for that because like, obviously Robin Williams doesn't have that life experience, but he wants to learn about it. Like he's curious about it and he's actually genuinely interested in being a doctor. And I think they can just help each other. I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
There's
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's that running, like we kind of talked about the like seeing things that other people don't see, whether, it's like the fingers or like the squirrels and stuff when you were saying. And I always love, I think that's such like a good right message, even like outside of the medical field. And like, I love the quote that, I don't know if it's Nietzsche or some misattributed quote to some philosopher, but it's like those seen dancing were considered insane by those who couldn't hear the music or something, and it was just like when you see someone insane, but you don't really know what's going on their head, but it's like, they're probably just seeing something, not talking truly insane people, but like, just seeing things differently. And like other people aren't going to understand that.
Right. Yeah. That's fascinating. It's an interesting quote. I like that.
The like progression of how medicine looks at mental illness is also just generally fascinating to me because kind of, we already touched on it, but like, it seems like, when this took place in the 60s, anything happens, send you to the insane asylum. Whereas now, like, at least I think there's a more awareness around mental health and like, hopefully that means there's a little bit better treatment options. But
I agree.
In a somewhat short period of time, it sounds like there's been, at least socially, a lot more awareness about that kind of a thing.
Yep. And I think, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was just saying,
I'm cutting everyone off today.
No, you're fine. I think we all are. We're all just excited to talk. Going back to like Joker, I mean, that the whole movie is essentially about that. Like he's got a mental illness. I mean, it's based in the 70s. So like, I think it's showing how flawed the system can be. I mean, it is, essentially. And I just think I think people are going to keep making movies like that until something happens, something changes. So
specifically, sorry, I'm gonna butt in here real quick because
Go for it.
the Joker and this movie, if you're looking at both of those, and it's like I'm thinking of the one scene where the Joker goes in and he's like talking to his therapist, and they're like, you know, so like, and like I feel like she's kind of like what we talked about, like probably like burnt out from dealing with this every day, day after day for however long she's dealt with it. And then you look at like the doctor when Patch was sitting down with the doctor in the insane asylum, and how like I think one of the very first times you see them sitting down with the doctor, he says something like so ridiculous, and the doctor's like, yeah, look, okay, well, see you next week. Like which to me
with a
just,
pogo stick or something like
yeah.
So
like to me, that's like, okay, my takeaway here is that the doctor wasn't paying attention, not because bad person, but like potentially just burnout,
right?
Doesn't know how to deal with it, doesn't have the resources. I don't know, but yeah, it's like, how do you deal with those situations? And like, I think both of those movies kind of touched on it in the same way. It's just like, it's not an easy problem.
No.
Yeah. I mean, especially back then when you're talking to those people, I'm sure doctors, it's just like, they don't even know what they're talking about. So why even listen to these insane people? But I was trying to think, I was like, I know this came up in a movie before, but it was The Taxi Driver and Joker when we talked about it. But how crazy it is that, like, I remember listening, the doctor who's, I believe, our Surgeon General again, but he was Obama's Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy. But his big thing, even in 2008 when he took over, was loneliness was going to be like big pandemic, and like mental health, you know, and he talked about how he's been like had so many people die where he was the last one in the room with them, you know, and like, and I can't imagine, like Joe was saying, of like the progression that we view it now from not that long ago to of like what even in like 20 years,
right?
You know, or is it going to be like what we're looking at, we're like, oh man, we didn't even touch that back in the day, or who knows what with mental health.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. It's like, I mean, you look at, you know, things from like, you know, 20 years ago, and like even like simple as like the facilities, like they're not well kept, and they're, you know, they look terrible, like they're not a fun place or pleasant place to be in. They, from the looks of them at least, I don't know if they are or not, but like I assume that they're depicting them in some sort of reality. And I mean, nowadays I hope that I mean, I don't think they have like specifically institutions anymore as much, but I'm hoping that they're
insane asylums.
Yeah,
we don't have this anymore.
No, I was gonna say
they were basically prisons. They were prisons we put crazy people in,
which is another issue. But
the real Patch Adams, how he's trying to build a hospital.
I was gonna segue to the real Patch Adams, so this is perfect.
But I think, right, because a big part of why he disliked the movie, it seemed like, right, he said that they kind of, other than how he was portrayed in some things, but it seemed like it was rooted in that they maybe told him they would like help build his hospital with money that they made from the movie, and he did not see 1 cent from the movie, you know?
That's what I heard.
And he made some comment that he like not corrected, but about like how Robin Williams made 20-something million, and he also didn't donate. But he then later, Robin Williams was a big supporter of St. Jude's Hospital, and after was like, I don't hate him, but
how could you?
But the poor guy's still trying to build his hospital.
I want to see a doc about him, honestly. I would love to see that. And I guess so. I didn't really read much about the real Patch Adams, but what did you guys was there any what did you guys take away from what you read or listened to or watched about him compared to the movie?
I think the only thing I took, I watched like a video on him where he was giving a speech to like a somewhat large audience, but like it almost looked like a TED Talk kind of when I first clicked on it. And basically he was talking about like feeding off other people's energy and like loving yourself, and one of the ones more medical terms he talked about specifically was starvation, particularly in children. And so it did make me wonder, because that was like when I was like, oh, he's real. And so I would like, I want to see that doc too. Like, I feel like the movie was good, and now I want to like know the real story, like without any any liberties taken. Like, I want to know, like, just interesting guy, would like to know more.
Yeah, I think the only like differences I think I read about too were like how he wasn't actually that old. Like, he was pretty normal aged for a medical student, so he didn't have the dynamic of like going in, but he also just like a brilliant guy. I don't know, probably did excel in med school without having to super be Truman. But bizarre. I don't know. I didn't watch that much about him, but super interesting guy. I mean, again, just someone who's out there trying to
gotta respect
very much make a dent in a huge system.
Yeah, and he's still alive, which is cool.
The only thing I clicked on was like one of the first YouTube things that came up with him on the Oprah show. And Oprah was like, how, kind of like, tell us about you. So you're a real doctor, right? And he was like, he's sitting there, with his mustache and like, like it almost was like suspenders over this cool, like fun shirt. And he was like, yeah, so when I graduated med school 17 years ago, and I was like, I'm watching right now, you're 17 years out of med school. I mean, he looked young.
Right.
And I was like, and then how old is this clip?
Right. It's crazy.
I mean, I guess he has to be in his late 70s.
I think so.
Yeah.
We could probably look it up, but he looks like he's in his late 70s. Something that generally bothers me in movies when they depict, someone, a real person or something, and they don't look like the person, it really bothers me. But this movie didn't bother me because, I mean, Robin Williams, they clearly casted him just because it's Robin Williams. Like, this guy's made to, I feel like he is, if Patch Adams in another world, essentially. And it didn't bother me. Like, a lot of the time I'm like, come on, you can't even cast someone with a big mustache. Like, but then again, I don't know if he had the mustache back in school, so I don't know. But
I was gonna say, how like at the beginning, how I was like, everything felt very like Hollywood, not gimmicky, but I was like, could you imagine that? But then they also cast this guy, and you don't know the real Patch Adams, and it's this guy with this huge mustache and like ponytail. You'd be watching this being like, this is not true, like this is crazy, and they'd be like, no, that's the real part.
Yes. And I think in that situation, like, I do like when movies like this, when you're not super familiar with the background of the real story, and they do kind of like side-by-side videos or photos at the end of, like, during the credits. I really like when movies do that. Like The Conjuring did that, and I thought that was really cool. Like, they did side-by-side photos from the movie and the real life photos. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool, because it gives you more of a backstory, and it's like, you're like, oh wow, this actually is legit. Like, this is real, like, footage or real photos, and I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, the whole casting thing didn't bother me. I mean, because usually it does, but you gotta love Robin Williams. So, well, location. So we don't have any in the app. I have to add them, but it was North Carolina and California. University of North Carolina. Chapel Hill was a lot of the scenes, and Appalachian Mountains were shot. Hold on, I wrote this down. Appalachian Mountains were shot off the Blue Ridge Parkway on Elk Mountain Highway in Asheville. So I think around North Carolina and I think Berkeley, California. California, North Carolina, both sides of the country.
We'll have to get them added in there, but it seems like, I mean, those should be visitable. I would think.
Yes, and I was thinking, Joe. I mean, he bought land for his hospital. You could totally buy land out in Nashville.
Good, yeah.
You can't. I mean, commune hospital.
Yeah,
commune. So we're even closer.
You guys would come, right?
Of course,
I'd be there.
As long as we get to make a movie about a movie, like in Bowfinger. Sorry, I had to sneak that reference in there because we didn't talk about that yet.
It's in there.
Good call. I would probably bring it up later, but
well, I was gonna say.
I do.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
I was just gonna say I was listening back to The Wicker Man that just came out.
Yeah.
And Joe mentioned the cult check. seems like it might be coming into play soon.
We should probably check
Like
that
today,
out.
we were just talking about communes. Maybe we want to be like, okay, we're
And-
still not in cults though.
Disclosure:
All right,
Joe's
cool.
trying to buy a piece of land, so we should definitely
Just
check
just
each
start.
other right now.
I feel like we need to do an episode where we purely talk about cults or cult movies.
A cult themed episode. I am all about that.
Truly do cult watch.
A
We'll
cult
call
watch.
it. It'll be called Cult Watch.
That would actually be funny. We could do like the recording button in the top and do like a found footage style cult watch. But
I'm about it.
cool. Well, do you guys want to get into ratings?
Let's do it.
Joe,
Oh yeah.
since you picked, you can start us off.
Okay. I am gonna go 8.7 pools of noodles.
8.7 noodles in a pool.
Awesome.
I had zero expectations for this movie. I think the heartwarming kind of movie is not typically my favorite kind of movie.
Joe likes
But I
everything
wouldn't
dark.
say, well, I mean, it's like dark, happy, funny, like sometimes
Yes.
heartwarming, but like to me, like I think that does have a somewhat high ceiling because like there can be really good, like inspirational, heartwarming movies.
Oh yeah.
I think they're very hard to do and they're very hit or miss depending on like the person watching it.
Yes.
But
It can be like cheesy a lot.
it's very easy to come
Which
off
this
cheesy,
was.
cringy.
Yep.
But I had fun with this one. I thought it like I said, like it made me laugh. It made me feel happy. It made me feel sad, and that's most of what I'm looking for out of a movie. So I enjoyed it. 8.7.
Cool. That's great. Love that. Jesse.
I'm gonna go. I'm real torn here. Again, I really wanted to like this more.
Mhm.
And I will preface it saying too that I was never a Robin Williams fan growing up. Just like
Really?
I didn't think he was bad. It just what like Jim Carrey. Some people like were like, growing up, Jim Carrey was my guy. Like he was, or like Will Ferrell. Like I feel like there's some people who like a lot of people were either all in or you just they weren't a huge thing. I still very much, the guy's a legend, especially in the stand-up comedy world. Like,
I respect it.
very great guy. But yeah, just as an actor growing up, he was never like, other than like he's Flubber to me, man.
I love Flubber. Great
love
movie.
me some Flubber. But
on that note, sorry to cut you
Yes,
off. On that
go for
note, Jim Carrey, or I'm sorry, Robin Williams turned down the movie Liar Liar to do this movie. Fun fact.
Oh, interesting.
Which is a Jim Carrey film. So
was Jim Carrey going out for this film?
I don't think so. I think I read about this. I didn't write it down though. Bill Murray, maybe.
I'd
Which would've
actually
been
watch
terrible.
that.
Just kidding.
I know Joe hates Bill Murray, but I'd be for that.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going 6.5.
Nice. In my opinion,
6.5.
anything above a 5 is pretty solid.
Yeah. I was gonna go. Yeah, it's going last minute bump to 6.5.
What was it prior?
0. No, I knew it was in the sixes. Felt right.
Okay,
but 6.5. Clown noses. 6.5. I still can't get a picture of noodles in a pool out of my head. 6.1, just 6 noodles in a pool.
You know you want to swim in that pool of noodles, Jesse.
I do.
Yes.
I know.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we'll go 6.5.
Cool. Great. Okay, for me, this is my second time watching it. I love the cast. Like I said, I think it was really well casted.
We did a little bit of the cast, but I feel like we usually geek out on the cast for a good.
I mean, I didn't really know
That's
many
true.
of the people in it though. I only knew really Philip Seymour Hoffman and
That's
Robin
true.
Williams. I mean, I don't know the other names of the people, but they were
Was
good.
it
I thought they were solid.
Monica?
Oh, yeah. What is she
Potterman?
in? She looks so familiar.
I think she was someone who, like, at the time was kind of like, or I don't know if it's Hollywood trying or like her, like she was gonna be one of these big.
Right.
I don't know if Jen Aniston's the right name, but like, but I don't think she had just for whatever reason never took off. But I'm assuming she's someone. Yeah, she seems so familiar that
Yeah.
She's probably in like just tons of stuff in those few years.
Right.
But
yeah, no, I love the cast, the great cast. They all did a good job. I do love when movies are centered on colleges. I think that's super fun. Because like especially like medical or something that is the other like something that's not your field. Like I love watching movies like medical or something else where it's I'm not, I don't know much about it. So I kind of learn some, given what's real and what's not, the facts in the movie. So it does help to have someone like D there to be like, oh no, that's wrong or that's right. But I'm hoping that the movie at least is, 60% or more accurate. So because I
just don't treat anyone medically, but being like, I watched a movie, they said that you do this.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
I recommend you taking patients in off the street just yet, Joe. But
not yet. Maybe I'll do like a food cart style, but like patient treating cart.
Come into my food cart hospital.
Yeah, like a travel. Ooh, that could be fun.
It could go on the comp.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, we're gonna need medical services up there, so we're true.
But yeah,
but it's like how you said about stand-up comedy and oh my god, I picked this movie.
Funny People.
What's the name of it? Funny People. I was like, my last week. I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm losing all my memory.
Yeah, last week was a blur for me.
Yeah, but how you were saying like stand-up comedy, it was like this world that you could get a peek into,
right?
But it wasn't about that per se,
Right. And I love that. I think that's great. I learn new things all the time, and that's why I love movies in general. And love the locations. I think that's at North Carolina is just great. You can always tell North Carolina, and I love it. I'm also gonna go 6'5", Jesse. I'm gonna mimic you. I'm gonna go 6'5" medical degrees.
6'5".
That's a lot of medical degrees, so that'd be pretty dope.
So wow.
And yeah, I mean, I like, again, not my favorite Robin Williams movie. One great performance by him though. Would recommend to people who are just kind of looking for a Robin Williams movie. I don't know. I think one of my issues with it was it didn't really know its genre. I think I was confused on, the happy, funny parts. I loved it. I was like, this is great. And I kind of wish it was like that kind of the whole movie. And I mean, the turn with the murder, I think was interesting. And I think that should have been kept in there. But I think the whole, obviously it's based on a true story. So you can't really, but there's certain ways you can kind of.
They took liberties, man.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. The whole kicked out of school thing was a little stretched for me. I don't know if that was real or not, but I just because he's trying to be fun. I don't know. Didn't really buy that.
A biography with a drama, with a comedy, with a tragedy.
Right.
Yeah,
which is fine. I have no issues with that, but it just felt a little choppy to me, I think. So, but
yeah,
you know what? I don't know.
I forgot to say that I didn't realize it was through his college years. When I went into it, I kind of just knew the idea of who Patch Adams, the doctor, was, but I was glad that it was through his college, through med school, rather than I thought it might just be he was a doctor at a hospital and, was treating patients like this.
Yeah. It's the origin story.
That's fine.
Yeah. Patch Adams' origin.
Patch Adams' origin. A Marvel take on.
Yeah, right. Well, cool. Do you guys want to go into movie news or any updates or anything you've been watching or?
I'm trying to think of what I've been watching.
I'll start. I went to go see Old last week, I think it was.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I actually really liked it. I know it's getting mixed reviews. Another M. Night movie. Obviously, you're gonna get mixed reviews because that's just who he is. I feel like that's just his persona now, is just mixed reviews. But I actually liked it. I had fun with it. There was some questionable acting, questionable writing in some parts, but overall, I think I had fun with it.
Questionable shooting, questionable sets.
No, the cinematography.
Questionable costume design.
No, I love the location. The location was awesome, and the cinematography was great. I think that was one of my favorite parts about it. So I think it's fun. If you like a Twilight Zone-y type of movie, thriller, M. Night fan, check it out.
Is that one of the dual release things that's on HBO and the theaters now?
No,
or is that
I think it's just theaters.
Just theaters.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then last night I actually went to a Dark Knight screening at the location as I'm currently in Chicago. So that was pretty cool. I actually ran into Ryan from going to the movies, and that was kind of fun. First location hunter I met in person. So that was really fun.
Crazy.
Hey, Ryan, if you're out there, hello. But it was great, man. We were in the building, the Chicago Architecture Center. And it was the scene where the Joker breaks into the fundraiser party, and that all that goes down. So it was really cool to be in that location with a bunch of fans, and people were dressed up like the Joker, and it was really fun. It was cool.
I want to plug your podcast with Ryan. If anyone's curious who Ryan is.
Ryan, going to the movies, we did an off-script episode with him. He is a location hunter, and he makes these really great videos. So yeah, and he's got a lot more coming out. So subscribe to his YouTube channel, listen to that episode, follow him on Instagram. Going to the movies, going to with the number, the movies.
The number 2.
Not sponsored. Yeah.
This week's episode brought to you by
MeUndies.
Joe, that is goal. We should try.
It was National Underwear Day the other day, and MeUndies was giving out free underwear for $1 just for the shipping. Wow. I left it open on my computer and didn't order it.
You messed up.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that ad read. I'm waiting for MeUndies to come sponsor us.
Oh my god. I don't really have movie news per se, but I did watch wrong season of Olympics, but I was watching the Olympics. It made me want to watch Miracle, the hockey movie.
Which, I thought you meant you were watching the wrong year of the Olympics. Like you thought you were watching Tokyo and you were like, I'm watching Athens 2004. And
yeah, I just watched completely the wrong year. But yeah, like I was watching the Olympics and I love the Olympics. And so I was scrolling through and I ended up watching that movie. And I kind of forget sometimes how much I like that movie. Also, I forgot that the Winter Olympics are literally next year because it was delayed a year. The Summer Olympics this year. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. Even when you said that, I was like, really?
And they're actually not that far away because I think they're actually in the winter. So it's less than a year unless it's like a year and a half away, which
right.
But I think it's like this coming year.
Do you know where they're being held?
Beijing, I believe.
Oh, back Beijing. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other good Olympic movies. If you could do a whole
Cool Runnings,
Mighty Ducks,
Cool Runnings.
Yes. Oh, Blades of Glory.
Blades of Glory.
Olympic movie. We could do an Olympic episode. Actually, that'd be fun.
Is like I, Tanya. Is she in?
I don't know.
The figure skating, right?
She was.
I assume she.
But I didn't watch the movie.
I don't think the movie. I don't know if the movie geared. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I saw the movie, but I don't remember it.
I mean, I think she was an Olympic skater. No.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like about it. Did the movie touch it? I don't know.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun
great
episode.
Olympic movie. Either way,
that'd be cool.
We should do some Olympic movies though.
Yeah. Going back to movie news, a couple. I'll just shoot a few out. Did you guys see the A24 Icelandic film Lamb?
No.
Oh my gosh, this is very A24. It looks awesome. It's
Did the trailer just drop?
It's just a trailer, but it's like I don't even know how to describe it. You have to watch the trailer. It's like this human lamb hybrid. It's in this Icelandic couple like finds it. It's amazing. It looks really great.
I either saw something about it, like in the newsletter, maybe I get their newsletter, or you posted something about it.
I posted about it on Twitter and Instagram, so
I probably saw that then. Man, did you pick up that duffel?
I did not yet, but I will.
Okay. All right.
Also, 2 Apple TV notes. We watched Schmigadoon. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I watched the first episode of Schmigadoon.
What'd you think about it?
It was good enough where I want to keep watching.
Okay.
But I'm still, it's
really
so different.
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
it's
said.
just so
like,
different that it's so
unique.
bizarre. Yeah. Like you leave the first episode just still being like, I still don't fully know what this is.
I'm like 4 episodes in. I still have no idea what's going on, but I love it. I think it's so different. Like you were saying, like, I just like it because it's how different it is. Like, and I actually really like them too. Keegan Michael Key and Cecily Strong. I like them together. I think it works really well, which is bizarre because they're just 2 people I never would have pictured, acting together, but it works really well. And also Ted Lasso, we started watching that. I don't know if you guys have seen that one yet.
The new season?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not started the new season yet.
Okay. I won't say anything.
My sister was in town, and so we started. She didn't watch season 1, so we started season 1 again.
Great.
To get to season 2. So I'm excited.
Well, when you
for
watch
that,
it,
though.
we can talk about it. I'll wait till you watch it.
Okay,
I don't want
yeah.
to say anything.
I'm so excited for that, though.
Cool.
Apple TV really crushing it. I have not heard
Yeah,
more
man.
news on the A24 Apple TV.
Maybe our podcast
Position,
stopped
but-
halted the
It's
process
like,
a little bit.
it's like when the Premier League in Europe was gonna like
right,
separate off, and then
Like,
James
no.
Yeah, and then James Corden did the really like passionate speech about it that like blew up. That was probably our podcast. Where Tim Cook was sitting there like, we can't do this, guys. The people will be against us.
Yep.
After this.
As this podcast comes out and it's announced that they bought them.
Oh, I also did a off script episode with Precious Chong, which was kind of fun. Actress, producer, writer. Her film Homewreckers on Shudder. You should check it out. So she wrote it, produced it, and acted it. So that was kind of fun. Got to chat with
What's
her.
the 30-second
Tommy Chong's
synopsis?
daughter. Didn't know that either.
Oh,
So,
really?
fun fact. The synopsis, it's about, basically
It's a horror. It's on Shudder, so it's
like a comedy
horror-ish.
horror comedy. It's like an indie horror comedy kind of vibe. It's fun.
I'm
It's-
into it.
It's fun. It's like different. I'm trying to think of it's not. I'm just gonna read it off IMDb, even though that's probably not the most reliable.
I'm into it.
But let me just read it real quick. Okay. 2 women befriend each other, but one becomes obsessed with the other. So there's the short elevator pitch.
I like it.
I'm into it.
It's fun. If you
I
like,
like
if
it
you have
that
Shudder, check it out. Well, I mean, it's on other streaming platforms, but you should get Shudder anyway.
Maybe we reach out to Shudder.
I'm not opposed.
I think we
I'm
should.
not opposed at all. So cool. I mean, anything else from you guys, or I think that's it for me.
I don't know if I've watched anything. No. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. So
Cool. Well, let's
So we
that's
can
a wrap
match
then,
match it.
right? I think. Let's
Yeah.
wrap it up.
It's a rippity wrap.
Here's my makeshift slate.
the traveling slate.
I'll do it again.